welcome to Be My Guest with me, Mary Honan. And today, my fabulous guest is the remarkable Steve Spade from Limerick. Now, Steve, as you'll probably find out, is a renowned magician, and he's known worldwide, and he's been celebrated worldwide, let's say. And we're going to have a chat with Steve to find out why he and what brought him in down the road of magic. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Mary. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome, and it's a privilege, Steve. I've long looked at your profile, and I've known you for a good long time now. And the one thing that has always made me wonder is what brought Steve Spade to magic. Were you always?
First and foremost, I need a haircut. Quarantine has
Don't
not
we
been
all?
good.
Don't we all? It's shoved up.
Absolutely. But it's working for the old Houdini look now. All right. The magic. It was a hobby that became a career. I think as just a kid, I was very inquisitive kind of a kid, and I just kind of wanted to know how things worked. And I think without even knowing what magic was, I think I was already thinking that way. And I remember meeting an aunt, and she was saying that she saw me do a trick when I thought it was like 5 to 7 when I got like magic sets and stuff like that. But she told me I was 3, and I had the finger chopper trick, and I was doing it at 3. So I don't know. It's always been a part of my life.
Yeah, and you came from Limerick.
Yes.
Were you always from Limerick, Steve?
From Limerick, yeah, 100%.
And was there any magic at all in your family?
My uncle on my mum's side, there's some magic there. He's a doctor in Dublin, but I wouldn't meet him very often. He told me he was like semi-professional magician when he was training and stuff. He used to do like shows and kids parties and
That's
events
amazing.
like that. So every time I met Uncle Michael, he always had a trick in his pocket, and he'd reach in and he'd perform it, and I used to be captivated. And he used to always be able to. We'd only meet at like a wedding or a family funeral or something like that. I wouldn't meet him very often. But when I was younger, everyone would flock to Michael to see what trick would he have. And he might just be doing like a coin trick or something on the table with a salt shaker or a spoon or a knife. But there was always a routine or something, or he always had something. And he had a very nice way of kind of presenting it. I remember one of the first close-up tricks I ever saw was where he placed he had a playing card like this, and he placed it on his hand, and he placed a match on it. And then he just held the card, and the match floated just above the card.
Did you ever find out how that was done?
I did after a couple of years, yeah. But yeah.
He told you the secrets of the magic.
Absolutely. And then every time I met him, he knew I was getting more into it. And as I started appearing on TV, he was always really supportive and stuff. And then he used to actually give me, I have nearly a library in the other room, but he used to give me old books, and he used to highlight better tricks and ideas and things that he liked when he was younger and stuff. So he was a very direct contact to the magic. But I used to always watch like Copperfield and David Blaine and things like that on TV.
Yeah, I was just wondering who influenced you. Who would be your ultimate? You mentioned Houdini. Would Houdini have been your?
I think so. I think Houdini was just as good as a magician as he was like a marketeer. He was really able to get his brand and his name out there when kind of performers weren't doing that.
Yeah.
Even marketing students now actually study how Houdini as a marketeer more than even as a magician when they're studying marketing. So yeah, I mean, I think he had the right kind of package about how to kind of gather interest and draw people in.
Yeah. But who would be your ultimate magician in contemporary times, I suppose? Would David Blaine?
I think David Blaine, because I was a teenager watching him on TV, and that would have definitely sparked an interest, and I'd be good friends with Keith Berry in Ireland as well. So
Keith Berry's great.
There's a great community of magicians. When you get to the next kind of tier, all the professionals kind of globally all kind of open up, and we share ideas and secrets, and we consult for each other back and forth from time to time as well.
Oh, I didn't know people. Yeah, well, of course, there's a community of magicians, and they're very, very protective over their secrets.
Absolutely.
You'd see in movies now people being killed for actually telling secrets of the magic circle. Isn't that
Yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called, a magic
I
circle?
could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Yeah,
I'd have to kill you afterwards.
yeah.
But Steve, tell me about all the journeys you've gone as a magician around the world and the people you've met.
But I guess it started with just like performing. You know, I used to, when I was at home, as a kid, I would kind of be put up on the kitchen table to do a trick kind of thing. If anyone was there, it was just, we're kind of a family of kind of entertainers. My sister's a singer, and my dad used to sing. And my dad would have been a big driving support in all the stunts and stuff. Like, he would have helped me. Dad passed away October, nearly 2 years ago now.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry, I didn't know that.
oh, thank you. And yeah, it was tough when I did the stunt last year. It was the first large scale escape I had done without him, and it was tough because Dad was a mechanic, you know, by trade, so he was very good at like kind of figuring out stuff and working
Yeah,
stuff and making stuff for me, or just like ideas and things like that. So it was difficult to
yeah,
kind of to do a large scale. It was the first big one, and it was difficult in that way. But he would have been a big driving force to perform. He loved watching people. He loved being tricked or seeing new tricks. But he loved seeing people's reaction. He
yeah,
used to love for me to do something for them to react, like his brothers or sisters or family or clients or whatever. If I did something, he'd love to just watch, you know.
yeah.
And obviously with his stunts and everything else, he would have been a big
And it was great for you to have him there as well because he was
yeah.
somebody that you absolutely trusted.
Absolutely, yeah. And my brother has helped me with them before, where I kind of just have to explain to my mom that it's safe enough. And then I get to go ahead because mom's nurse has a nursing background and a medical thing, so she's like, just don't kill yourself. And
Don't come
Daddy
back
would
to
like,
me dead.
and then I'd tell Dad I'd had a crazy idea about something. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and he'd be like, okay, but as long as you can, you know what I mean. Don't put yourself in too much risk. But I mean, as a daredevil escape artist, there's no way of like not putting yourself at risk. There's always risk.
Yeah. And are you prepared for that risk, Steve?
Yeah, I think you have to be, you know, as well as you're getting older and stuff like that. You have to kind of think about, when you're younger, you kind of just try these things and you hope for the best, which is a bad place to be. But as I gotten older, I started working with more like stunt people, stunt coordinators, and teams of people instead of it just being a one-man band. I'm able to work with pyrotechnics and
Yeah.
stuntmen and choreograph these stunts, so they're a bit safer. They're as safe as they can be,
As
but
if they can
there
be.
can always be risk or something on the day. Like, yeah.
You'd often see Britain's Got Talent now, and Simon Cowell saying things like the more dangerous, the better for him, of course. And he likes to see
Draw
things.
people in.
He's not really into magic, but when somebody comes on and does something extremely dangerous, he's really interested in that because he likes the thrill of danger. But it's all right when you're sitting there watching. Must
That
be
was
a
very true.
night. It must be a nightmare worrying about. I suppose it's like any form of performance, a nightmare on the night of something going wrong, even if it's only something innocuous like just the act going sour or nothing going right for you. But imagine worrying that you're not going to come out of it with your life.
Yeah, I mean there is that level, and you have to get your mind. You have to be as physically fit as mentally fit for this kind of stuff. One of the hardest things about the underwater escape I did was just the idea of being nailed into the box and knowing that I'm being nailed in now, and having to get that idea out of my mind that I'm here, and not your human reaction is to panic and feel claustrophobic, and but if you panic in those situations,
I
it's not going
couldn't
to work.
do that in a million years. I couldn't, this potholing or people going into cave diving and things like that.
Yeah.
That is my ultimate dread. There's no way I'd go through small little spaces or stay or confine myself in a box.
I think everyone now has a different appreciation for being isolated and being told to stay in one place.
Yeah.
Like an escape artist with COVID-19 and everything else, everyone kind of understands now what it's like just to be,
Yeah,
isolated.
speaking about COVID-19, how has that helped or hindered you as a magician? Have you been able to devise ideas around isolation, around the notion, I suppose, of claustrophobia? And
Yeah, I've been trying to kind of like reinvent magic for online, and hopefully I'll do something for you in a little while.
yeah,
You have a deck of cards there.
I do.
And
I have 2 decks. Pat Barry, my
brilliant.
colleague here in the station, arrived this morning. He said with 2 decks of cards,
Great.
choice of
So you can
colours.
have a game of poker later on anyway, if all that's fair.
I don't even know what he's doing with 2 decks of cards, but how's ever,
Right.
they're
So
still
yeah,
in the
no,
seal.
it's definitely forced me online a bit more. I mean, I'm always online at events and different things like that, but this kind of more Zoom calls and more interviews and things like that, it's definitely pushed that sort of things. Shows wise, because it's a live performance, everything was postponed. So I had a tour that I was trying to get off the ground this year called the Conjurer, which was a mix between modern and Victorian magic and Edwardian magic. So
That's exciting. See, I
yeah,
see you as very kind of, I see you as gothic.
yeah,
In
quite
your
dark.
approach, very dark. Everything is deathly and dark, and your
If you go
clothing, everything is that gothic look, and
Absolutely. If you go back and look at the old magicians like Houdini, Thurston, and Keller,
yeah,
you would have been looking. You would have been looking at the kind of iconic imagery of the dark magician with like a little devil in the ear, whispering secrets and all this kind of stuff. So it was very that style at that time.
yeah,
And I think that's where the whole kind of gentleman look came in, the top hats and
puppets.
that kind of thing. But my branding. Um, I suppose my image, I suppose anyway, is just leather jackets and t-shirts. It's what I'm comfortable in. So
As
I
in
suppose
the background there.
there is a kind of
It's a great image, Steve. I
thank you.
love, as an artist, I can appreciate the dual tones just of black and ice blue rather than black and white.
It just pops out. That's actually taken on the top of the Clarion, the Clayton, actually in Limerick. That's Limerick
Yeah,
behind me.
it's an amazing spot, isn't it, the Clayton, for getting photographs. Another, yeah, it's just, even the Strand is also amazing for getting
Yes,
for getting good panoramic views of the city.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's nice to it's nice to show that was a press image. But it's just nice to show where you're from. I'd be very
Proud of
humble,
Limerick.
proud of
Yeah,
Limerick. Yeah.
as am I, even though I wasn't born here, but there's few prouder than me of Limerick, and disgusted that we don't have a minister, but that's another
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Do you know what I mean? Not one minister for Limerick, however. Um, so you started doing tours of the world, and you started getting recognized by people like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I suppose when you're with the stunt side of things, if you announce that you're going to do something quite dangerous, it's going to gather publicity. The problem is that magicians coming up along think it's a very quick way to get some publicity, but the reality is you have to put the work in. You have to really dedicate your life to being an escape artist, either learning how to pick locks or learning not to panic under pressure, or
You'd
actually
be
staying.
handy breaking into a house.
We'll leave that off the record. Off the record. And people don't call me if you lock your keys into your car, because I've had that. I've had that a few times.
Oh, have you? I've wondered about that, because I lost my keys one time, and and the thought actually came through my head. I wonder would Steve Spade know how to actually get in?
Yeah, well, a few people can give me a call, but not everyone. But yeah, things like that. Definitely you have to really dedicate your life to the escape side of things. I mean, you can be a magician and you can perform regular events, and that's fine. But I really feel David Blaine said it best, that you don't get into magic, that magic gets into you.
It's into
And
you, yeah.
I think it has to be, not that it's a vocation or anything, but you have to really want to do it to the level that you need
Yeah, but
to.
it is a vocation in a sense, just the same as nursing or medicine or any career teaching. If it's the first thing you think of in the morning and the last thing you think of at night, then it's not just a job, it's a passion.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's what, someone said to somebody one day, I want to be a singer. And I thought it was a very, very good thing to a bit of advice, because they said, well, if you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is sing, and it's the last thing you do at night, then you are a singer.
Yes, yeah.
This idea of wanting to be a magician, or wanting to be a singer, or wanting to be anything, if that's the thing that completely absorbs you and controls you, your every moment, then that is what you are.
Yeah, and you get inspired by lots of different things, I find. I mean, I play music as well. I play the guitar and things like that as well. So I've always had those different outlets, and lots of things. An idea for a stunt or an illusion or a trick could come from a lyric or a song or a film I watch or whatever. So there's always a crisscross in different genres of things. I've been lucky enough. You were just saying about performing for Mike Tyson. I have been lucky to perform for like Mike Tyson and Rihanna and things like that in the past. But I think what's different about when you're performing for anyone at a live show or anything, everyone has the same kind of baseline where they're going to react because they're just human. They're going to react because I placed something in my hand and now it's gone. Their visceral reaction is just, oh my God, where is this kind of a thing?
Where's it gone to?
But what you find is people who are celebrities or people that are high in power in the world, will say, that we look at kind of differently. They react the exact same way as anyone else because they have to. And I think it's amazing to see people of that stature react the same way as everyone else, which is a really nice kind of human kind of trait that everyone has. I call it like the Christmas morning feeling, where when you're a kid, you run downstairs, you run into the sitting room and you see all the Christmas stuff. You've got that excitement and energy and adrenaline in your body, and good magic that kind of inspires people. It makes people think, not that it's just a trick, can do the same thing.
There's a young lad, I saw him on Britain's Got Talent as well, but he was actually on Ireland's Got Talent. Little lad from Dublin. He's from Dublin anyway. Amazing stage presence. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he's only about 8 or 9.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing stage presence. Absolutely astonishing stage presence. And he got through anyway, but he's good looking, he's charming, he's got it all. He just walks out on the stage and commands the stage, walked straight down to Simon Cowell and stood right in front of him and did tricks with him. And I thought, you're going to be the next Steve Spade. Do you know? But they were. It was hand tricks he was doing. But Steve, you did a trick there some time back on the Shannon.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Tell the listeners or the viewers.
It was probably my first big escape. I mean, I'd done like straight jackets and I had done chain escapes and rope escapes. My very first escape I did was a 100-feet rope escape where I was tied to a chair with 100 feet of rope. And the tradition of it with Houdini is you have the less time that you got tied up to get out. So that's the kind of risk. The only risk is failure, really. But really, even though things can be death-defying to a magician or an escape artist, the risk of failure is nearly greater sometimes than the risk of what the average person thinks what a real risk is. So I think that was the first one, and that really got my kind of appetite for it with the kind of stunts. As a kid, though, I do remember like being like tied up by siblings and stuff like that, and escaping out of it. It was like a thing that I just asked them to tie me up and things. I don't know. It's been a long and great career.
You've had a very masochistic life.
Maybe. But even that though, like I remember watching Copperfield as a kid and then asking.
Oh, well, he was great.
Absolutely, and his big box illusions, and I'd go and I'd pester Mom then on the weekend to go and get me like cardboard boxes and.
You don't see much about him anymore.
Make these illusions myself from cardboard boxes from Dunn's, so all that kind of creativity was there from an early age, I guess. You don't really, but he's still extremely busy. He's the busiest magician in the world, really. He does 2 shows every day, every year. So right through every day, every year, 365 days a year.
And what about Uri Geller? How do you rank Uri Geller? Would you consider him a magician, or would you consider him?
Uri Geller, at the start of his career, didn't consider himself a magician at all. That he was a psychic and it was all the power of the mind. As he kind of got older into his career and that side of the psychic stuff kind of fizzled out, he became more of a magician, I think. And I think now he might class himself as a magician. Uri Geller is kind of a strange one. You don't really know.
Strange, yeah. You don't know what genre he's in.
His whole performance is that he's this unique type character, So yeah, it's kind of hard. I'd love to ask him that question actually, because I don't know what way he sees himself now.
Yeah, I often wondered, did Uri Geller see himself as a magician or a mind controller, a mind reader, or what?
There's so many different aspects to magic, and I suppose over the last, I'm 35 now, and I think over the last couple of years, I've been trying to kind of mold it all into like a master magician type thing. So a master magician is someone that's kind of revered by his peers, and they've mentioned that you're a magician, you know, that you've got a higher standing, I guess.
But that term has been given to you by the Irish Independent. I'm trying to think.
Ireland Houdini was Irish Times when I did a stunt,
Irish
and
Times.
the BBC, Steve Nolan.
Steve Nolan described you as a master magician.
But I think you have to be able to kind of tick off the boxes to say that. So you need to be able to do escape, escapology, hypnosis, mind reading, you know, sleight of hand magic. All the tiers have to be there to call yourself, or to have yourself being called a master magician.
Yeah. And what do you hope? What more do you hope to achieve? I suppose
it's not really.
Do you want to do something?
Yeah. Let's do something after this. I have a bit of a bucket list of different ideas and effects. So there's a few stunts that I really want to do, and I had some other projects and stuff that all had to be postponed this year. This year was actually an extremely busy year.
What were you going to be doing?
I have a small bit of background in like comedy magic and stuff as well. So I was actually on tour with Joe Rooney when this all struck in January, which had to be postponed as well. So but no,
when you say comedy magic, explain that.
So it'd be like visual comedy magic, like pickpocketing and things like that on stage with people. So yeah, so it's the lighter side of magic, but it's another aspect to being a magician. You can't. I found out kind of early in my career that you can't be too serious in Ireland. You kind of have to have the crack with it.
Some sort of humor, yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of just engage with the audience, because at the end of the day, regardless of what your vehicle is, you know, if you're a magician or a singer or a poet, you have to engage with the audience and have them engage with you. And then really the tricks and the effects you do are kind of irrelevant once they kind of like you and your personality and what you're performing.
You know what I haven't seen, and I think there's, you know, it's probably been done, but I haven't seen it, and I think there's a market there for it. A kind of a full stage show of magic that would be I suppose the only comparison I could think of would be a Riverdance style magic show.
Absolutely, yeah.
That had a basis in Ireland and Celtic or even the traditional Irish magic, you know, brought into a contemporary forum.
Absolutely, yeah.
With essences of traditional in there, do you know? A whole
I had to do a lot of research on kind of like Viking magic and stuff that would have been relevant to the Viking era at the time when I was working.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
And the old traditional cup and balls, you know, the 3 cups is an Egyptian trick originally. One of the oldest.
Where the ball is, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And every different nationality across the world of magicians does a variation of that trick. So that is one of those tricks that's seen as, you know, this has to be in your resume if you're a magician, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's because, and the reason for it is because there's vanishes, there's reappearance, there's changes, there's transpositions. Everything within magic is in that one trick. So I mean, for people that kind of want to get into magic and want to kind of take it to the next level, they might do a few card tricks with their friends or whatever. If you start learning the cups and balls routine, it will kind of open doors to other magic.
I think as a big stage show now with people even from around, like I keep saying Riverdance, but that kind of a thing where they brought influences from all over the world into their show, and they had different people on stage doing performances and to music and to dance and bring in all the elements, all the creative or the entertainment areas like dance and music and singing and that, but have it all based around magic.
Sounds great. Yeah, really good idea.
Can I be your manager?
I have drawn up a few ideas for different stage shows in the past, but I think a big illusion show would be hard to kind of tour. But
now, Steve, do you want to do a trick for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've got that deck there, just open them up if you haven't opened it yet. Right.
The camera is actually on reverse for some reason or other, and when you go left, you've got it. Everything is to the right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to open this now before you did it, in case that I was wrong. So bear with me while I take the seal off.
I think the idea that you can do stuff through social media like this kind of freaks people out. You know, I've gotten mad reactions from people so far.
Social media, yeah. Do you know, this has opened up a whole new medium for magicians as well, and for everyone that we never thought we were going to be using. Do Absolutely. I just take everything out?
Yeah, just take everything out and just give them a shuffle or a mix or a cut, or you can use a table to cut them or shuffle them.
Okay, the joker, I'll take out the joker.
Yeah, get rid of the jokers. Too many jokers around.
Oh, there's a lot. Okay, well, I'm trying to raise this so people can see where am I going. Right.
Yeah, just mix them and then you can. Perfect.
Okay. So what do I do now?
Yeah, I've got a deck here as well. So you can just kind of like spread them like this so people can see that it's just that they're mixed up. So if you move over this way maybe. Yeah, and if you just spread from the start there again, just so we can see all the cards. Yeah, just spread. Yeah, that's fine. And you can, yeah, once you're happy they're mixed. Yeah, so everyone can see that they're just a normal deck cards, that they're all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So you're just gonna square them up now and just place them with the back facing upwards, or face down. So you're gonna lift off maybe 10, 20 cards. And you're just gonna flip them over and put them back down. Yeah, perfect. And then you're gonna cut a bit deeper down, maybe like 30 cards, 40 cards, and flip them over and put them down. As long as it's more from the first time. Yeah, great. You happy with that?
Yeah.
And there's no way I could have manipulated that. I mean, you're at the other side of the screen and everything. Okay,
no.
Good. So just bring the cards down underneath the screen now. Yeah, so I can't see, bring them down. And you should have some cards that will be like face up and face down like this.
Okay.
So grab the first face down one that you see.
Okay.
And don't let me see it.
Do I look at it?
Yeah, you look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
So just say the card over and over in your mind, like red card, black card, red card, black card. Just say it over and over in your mind. Yeah, keep saying it over and over in your mind. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to flick it out and catch it. The 4 of clubs. No? It's like history repeating itself. It was a red card though, was it?
Yes, it was red.
Oh, it was a diamond.
Yes.
It was, hang on, watch. Was it a 2 of diamonds?
I have, that's insane. That is insane. I thought for 1 second, I thought, oh, Jesus, he's going to fail on my show.
It was close. It was close. The 2 of diamonds.
Oh, stop. That's awesome. The red 2. I have no idea how you could do that.
And you shuffle them, they're your cards. They're not trick cards. I didn't send them in or anything
no,
like that.
No, sure, they came in the seal.
Yeah, that's good.
No, Pat Barry brought them this morning on his way to.
We'll just try an experiment, okay? Just with the deck there, just spread them all out so they're all face down.
On
Spread them on your table or wherever you have them. Just spread them all out.
Okay.
And just reach in and take out any one you like.
Okay. Woo. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Yeah.
You can show me. Yeah. A joker. Jokers are wild. Turn the joker to you. And imagine what card it is. What card is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
Queen of clubs.
Queen of clubs. Okay, can you see this little cartoon man?
Yeah.
Good. And this is on a deck of cards. And if I do this, I'll come right up to the screen. if I move it up, you'll actually see he starts to change a little bit as you go along. So if I move like this, you actually see that he starts to kind of go into the cannon. You see that?
Yeah.
You just said the Queen of Clubs. So watch. This is a new deck order. So I got aces running up to the spades, and I've got clubs. Queen of Clubs, you said.
Yeah.
I'll take the Queen of Clubs out. Queen of Clubs. And I will leave the Queen of Clubs just here. Just there. So you'll be able to see it the whole time. Yeah? Here's what's interesting. Watch. If I push this up like this, like a cartoon, and I bring it right up to the screen. Can you see the little guy?
Yeah.
Now watch carefully. He's going to climb into the cannon. He's going to throw the cards in the air. He's going to dive through the cards. He's going to pick out one card from the blast. That one card is going to be one card.
Oh, for gosh, God Almighty's sake.
Your card.
That is just. You're in touch with the devil.
Yeah, maybe.
Steve, that is just remarkable.
I nearly knocked over the camera. Yeah, it's a great effect. So it has opened up the doors to do different stuff for people, especially the fact that you can use your cards at home or wherever you are. It's just a different avenue of it.
That is just. It's like you're inside somebody's mind.
Yeah. The worst thing about some of this when you're doing an interview is that the presenter usually goes kind of speechless and you're a bit like, so, any more questions? Or
No, but I mean, I was in front of a hypnotist once, and everybody, a few of us brought up, and I was thinking, like, I know everything he's saying. Why? And I was conscious that everybody else was being hypnotized except me.
Yes.
And I couldn't understand that. And eventually he basically shuffled me down to my seat because, and I just couldn't be hypnotized. And I'm very doubtful about things. And I'm saying to myself, how in God's name could Steve do that?
Yeah, because I can't. There's no such. I can't do sleight of hand through the screen, so it's impossible.
So, what's your favorite magic trick?
I really like the escapes because they're just such a challenge to me, and you can learn magic and then practice it and then do it over a few months or a few years and you perfect it. But some of the stunts can take really a lifetime. There's some stuff that I've been training for already for stunts that I may or may not do in the future. So I think the stunts are like something that really kind of inspire me and get me going. Magic tricks, I've always loved card magic. I've always done card magic and card tricks and sleight of hand and things like that. There's no one particular trick. I suppose I'm kind of known now for the Russian roulette routine with the spike and the nail. People choose.
Explain that to us.
So it's a Russian roulette is the concept of like the one bullet in a chamber type thing is a very commonly used kind of term and things within magic tricks. So there's always like a risk element and then maybe a couple of objects that would be safe or whatever. So magicians use their choice a lot, in the different styles of effects that can be used using that kind of premise. So that one version, lots of magicians do it. Copperfield has done it, and David Blaine and Keith Barry. The idea is that there's a nail underneath one cup, and there's 4 cups, and the audience member mixes the cups, and the magician is blindfolded. Then the audience member is blindfolded. You mix the cups. Then you're blindfolded again as the magician, and then they choose which cups are empty, and you smash them with your hand.
Oh God!
Or you smash them with their hand, if they're brave enough.
I don't think I'd be brave enough. Although if you were doing it, I probably would, because I'd say to myself, he has some connection somewhere that's actually telling him which one to do.
It's never gone wrong, really, but it's come close a few times.
So what's your dream, Steve?
Just to keep doing I suppose, just for people to still like what I'm doing and performing and coming to see me and things like that. And then if they keep doing that, I can keep performing. So
you're a consultant with RTE, and Am I right?
I've worked on a few different things in film and TV in the past. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I worked a little bit on Vikings, and I worked on the new TV show Foundation that's been filmed in Troy Studios. I can't talk too much about it, but I had to teach a couple of the actors a couple of sleight of hand pieces for some of the scenes.
It's a great studio, isn't it?
Amazing. It's great for the
It's great
city.
that we have something good like that here in the city. It's
Absolutely.
good for Limerick. Any acting?
Acting,
And
not.
I see you as being. What was that series that used to be on before? Alan Davies used to be in it. He was a magician in it.
Right.
Very good. He was a detective. Well, he was a magician, and he used to do all these. You should look it up, Alan Davies.
Yeah, I will.
It was a series that used to be on. I used to watch it religiously. I can't think of the name of it though. And he was a magician, and something always happened. Someone was killed, and he had to. He figured out the murders, because they were always very complicated murders, and only somebody with the mind of a magician would be able to.
Would have to figure out. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, Alan Davies. He's
talking about film and magic, though. There's an idea that I've had for a while. I'm gonna put something behind me, so you know that I don't do anything. I've got tape here. My act is consisted of tape and chains and whatnot, so there's always tape. But there we go. I'll put that right there. No, hopefully you can see that. I'll move.
That's question mark. Yeah.
Okay, I'll move over. So here I have a packet of cards, but it's not really a card trick. I just on the back I wrote different celebrities, and can you see those?
Yeah.
Do
I name them?
Yeah, you can name them. Yeah, if you want.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant and
Sean Penn.
Absolutely. I'll fly through them so we can go kind of quickly.
Jack Nicholson, as good as it gets. Nicole Kidman. Bruce Willis.
Absolutely.
Kurt Russell.
Aidan Quinn. Robert De Niro. Danny DeVito. Sharon Stone. Goldie Hawn. There's some older ones, newer ones. Gabriel Byrne. Jodie Foster.
Demi Moore.
Rihanna, Andy McDowell. Tom Cruise. They're all different, okay?
Yeah.
So here's the idea. I'm going to hold the cards like this, and you're just going to name any one of those actors. So actually name anyone there that you saw, or I can go again.
No. Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Jack Nicholson. You don't want to change your mind?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay, great. So from the front of these cards, like this.
Yeah.
You're just going to name one of these cards that you see.
What you want me to say where he is?
Yeah, you're going to try to find where he is. So you don't know which card he's on. Can you see? Hopefully you can.
There.
Which one?
That one there. The Jack of Spades.
You think he's on the Jack of Spades?
Yeah.
You don't want to change your mind?
No.
Okay, so let's see. So this is going to be. So Jack Nicholson is on the Jack of Spades. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Don't want to change your mind?
No.
Okay, you sure you don't want to change it? That's important.
No. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So on the back of the Jack of Spades.
Oh, I don't believe it!
But what's really crazy and mental, and you decided Jack Nicholson, that was your choice, and you also decided Jack of Spades. This has been here the whole time?
Yeah.
And it's not like handwritten or anything? It's printed.
Upside down. Oh my God!
And there's just when you're talking about like
I kind of feel psychic now.
Yeah, like actors learning magic for movies and stuff. Jack Nicholson obviously played the Joker in the original Batman in 1989, and in that he had to learn some sleight of hand, and he probably got taught. I must research it, but he probably got taught by a magician to learn some of those sleights. And there's a scene in it where he's flicking a deck of cards. If you watch the old Batman, you'll see it. He's flicking a deck of cards, And at one part, he flicks out one card, and that one card is...
Ah! Oh my God!
Jack of Spades.
The Jack of Spades. I am connected forever with Jack Nicholson.
There you go. And hopefully you can see that. There's not too much shine.
The Jack of, no, we can see it. The Jack of Spades.
Jack of Spades.
Oh, for God's sake. Steve Spade, you're a genius. You are indeed a master magician.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we're so proud of you here in Limerick. We really are. And we're so proud of you in their media TV.
Thank you very much.
You're the first magician we've ever had on, or I've ever had on. And to be honest with you, you're the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You know, and it's lovely to see somebody local doing so well for themselves. But before you go, you went to New York. You were in Times Square. You did some magic in Times Square.
I've been in New York a few times, but this time last year, after the stunt I did in Northern Ireland in July, myself and my girlfriend, we went to New York on the 5th of July, and we were there for a few days, and I did some magic in Times Square and a few shows in Manhattan, and then I did something that I wanted to do. It was on my top of my bucket list. I wanted to visit Houdini's grave in Queens, so I finally got to do that last year and pay my respects and all that. So yeah.
They must have been blown away by you on Times Square, because I've seen some of the video footage.
Yeah, I just put up a small little bit of that footage. There's a lot more of it, but yeah, it's always good to meet people, and catch them off guard and do stuff like that. I mean, obviously, when I'm doing something like this, and for people, people know that you might know me and things like that on a other, on different level than the interview. But we didn't set anything up. We didn't say think of Jack Nicholson or think of whatever card. It was all. No. It's all fair. It's
To be honest with you, Steve, I thought, oh my God, the first trick, I thought he's actually after making a mistake on my show.
Yeah.
I thought, Jesus, when you said the wrong card, I thought my heart sank. I thought, how am I going to get through this?
I can bear this one, yeah.
Because I hate to see anyone fail, Absolutely. But I should have.
There's a level of that in magic anyway. You kind of always wanted to go wrong and then go right, kind of a thing.
You know who was a master at that? Was Tommy Cooper.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you look at Tommy Cooper, and the same, I suppose, with Les Dawson and the piano. Les Dawson playing the piano, and you knew instinctively only somebody as good as him on a piano could play so perfectly out of tune.
Yes.
So perfectly out of tune, and he's looking. And Tommy Cooper was the same. Every trick that he did, he was an exquisite magician. But he made himself look like a fool as well. You were talking about the comedy and the magic.
He's very famous. The jar and the spoon. Jar, spoon. And then he's off to the wings, talking to a stagehand, just saying like, "Pull the string, pull it," and the spoon flies out.
Very funny.
It's comedy. It's brilliant the way that he does it, because he took standard tricks that were kind of gone boring or old hat even back then, and then tried to kind of give them new life by adding.
He always wore the fez on his head, the Turkish fez. Yeah. So that could be an influence for you.
He was a great character, absolutely.
Yeah, and he died as he lived on stage. Laughing,
right. People thought it was part of his act and everything. Yeah,
that's right. Until the curtains closed and everything went. It was a sad way for his family, but great for him. I think he would have wanted it.
He would have wanted that.
Steve Spade, thank you so very much for being my guest. Be my guest today, and long may you thrive. And I'm sure everyone is going to know the master that is Steve Spade.
Remember your Jack of Spades, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, as good as it gets. Yeah, thank you very much, Steve, and God bless.
Thanks, Mary. All the best.
Bye. Bye.
Oh shit! They're gonna put